Is any?
Good springboard.
Now, I've talked about this, and maybe Jerkoff in the chat could answer this, because he's probably a white nationalist. Not calling you a jerk-off because you're a white nationalist. I'm calling you a jerk-off because you're a jerk-off.
To be clear.
Now, I also don't buy into the whole white nationalism thing. I'm 100% good with nationalism.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they'll call nationalism white nationalism anyway.
Yeah, just pride in your country.
They'll call it racism anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Okay. But I've always made the argument, because even when I talk to white nationalists, I always ask them the question, what is white nationalism? What is white identity? And they can never answer it. Or you'll get multiple different answers from multiple different people.
But it'll never be the same.
Yeah, like, because I'll make the argument after. I'll let him make the argument, because this guy is a white nationalist, and he was asked in Congress or in some kind of hearing.
Okay, Mr. Jeremy Carl of Montana to be Assistant Secretary of State for International Organization. So he's trying to go for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'm not even going to say that I think, because he calls himself a white nationalist, that he's a racist.
Right.
I think, like, in that I don't believe he harbors hate for anybody. I'm not going to go that far. I think he's just an idiot in that he doesn't understand what he's even talking about. And he needs to just rethink his fucking ideology. That's all my whole argument is.
Okay.
I just want people to think. That's it.
Tell me how you define white identity and what you think is being erased about white identity.
Certain types of Anglo...
And I'm sorry, let me make this other argument. I also, just for people that haven't heard this before, my argument too is that there's no difference between... There's a difference fundamentally, but there's no difference psychologically between white identity and black identity. I think you're doing the same exact thing.
The same thing.
And it all eventually leads you into victimhood. And that was my whole problem with Nick Fuentes. That's my whole problem with the Groypers. And
yeah, they're victims.
White nationalists. They're all victims. Perpetual victims.
How you define white identity and what you think is being erased about white identity.
Certain types of Anglo derived culture that comes from our history.
Like what?
Let me think about this. Senator, I would say if you were to look at the book by one of your former Senate colleagues, Born Fighting, about the sort of Scotch-Irish military culture and certain, pride that went with that, that would be one example. Obviously, you could have sub-elements of that culture. You could have Italians, you could have Irish, and those are in many ways more distinct.
You're worried about white culture. You're not worried about, you're now retreating to ethnic identity. You don't speak about ethnic identity. You speak about white identity. So tell me the values that stitch together white identity and that make it different than black identity.
I would say that the white church is very different than the black church in terms of its tone and style on average. Foodways could often be different.
And those
music could be different.
And those are being erased.
Music could be different. Well, if you look at the Super Bowl halftime show, which was not in English this year.
So our ability to access white churches or white food or white music is being erased?
I am concerned with the majority common American culture that we had for some time that through particularly mass immigration, I think has become much more balkanized, and I think that weakens us. And again, I'm not running away from that comment. I'm not apologizing for it.
Well, I'm way over my time. I think you're struggling to answer this question, right? Because underlying your beliefs is a sentiment that white culture is just simply better. Tell me.
Now, honestly,
no,
to a degree, I could agree with that if that's what he's trying to say. Like there are like.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that from what.
I didn't get that from what he was saying, but if that is where he's going with it, I think it's a fair statement. Refute it, name black cultures or, not. But that's where I think the word white is being bastardized. It's bastardizing exactly what culture is, because Irish culture is very different from Italian culture.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Those are like, you can maybe point out some similarities like we do with Caribbeans. Like all Caribbeans have similarities.
African American culture is different from Caribbean culture.
And of course there's differences. Like we're not going to pretend that like what he's saying is completely wrong.
Right.
Of like
differences.
Black churches are very different from white churches.
The question is that being erased?
Well, no. The question is, what are we talking about when you say white churches? Because if you're talking about like Black churches and their music, that's definitely different. The way they do their sermon is completely different. To a degree. I think Black sermons are a little more boisterous and
Baptist,
in your face.
White Baptist is definitely different from Black Baptist.
But then there's Black Protestants that are very, like, I've seen my uncle was a devout Catholic, and when he died, they had a Catholic sermon. And it was a Black preacher, and he was very, very calm and almost Roman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how they are. Yeah.
That's how they're supposed to behave. So it's like, it doesn't mean, and his congregation was like very, like it was mainly white, actually. Mm-hmm. But I think it's because like it's a way that it's done that it doesn't. This is my question, right? And it's gonna go to what I was just saying. I'm not cutting myself off.
You're good.
When you ask the question, what is white identity? Right? A lot of people do what he did, where he goes, well, it's Anglo, ethnicity, and then he brings up Irish and Italian. And if you're saying that white identity just encompasses all European kind of identity, then you have to account for all of the white liberals. Does that make sense? All of the white Satan worshipers and all of the... Because if it's about skin color, then account for that.
Then they're part of that culture too, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's not about skin color and it's about beliefs.
Then if it's not about skin color, calling it white identity doesn't hold up to reality.
Doesn't hold up because... It's
not a real identity.
Right.
Just like Black identity is not a real identity. And you see it now branching off into FBAs and... Island Blacks and
Absolutely.
African blacks.
Blacks, yep.
White people are just going to do the same eventually too, where it goes into, oh, well, I'm actually Irish, so you guys used to be slaves. Italians used to be persecuted here. They were like the Mexicans of their time. They were like here without papers and shit. That's why they're called WAPs. You know what I mean? Like, it's different history, especially coming to America. It's all different kind of histories. It's not all like the fact that Irish people were able to assimilate to white is like it's astounding from their perspective because they were able to get over their victimhood.
I think another problem is people like this guy, and again I don't know, because I'm not white, I don't know if he's necessarily wrong, right? He can have his beliefs. But he's looking at things like the media, and you said it the other day. Well, it was a while back. Like, there's new media now. Like, people like us, people that are bigger than us, are the new media. The media that he's looking at that are erasing white culture is mass media. That's kind of like their job at this point, is to convince people that something like this is happening. But then when the votes come out and people vote, Republican and in mass, then you can see where the country actually feels.
Skrill, it's this. I agree with what you're saying for the most part. What I'm saying is this is why I think he's actually wrong, because it just doesn't hold up to reality. Again, if you're gonna say, and you could fact check me on the numbers on this because I could be wrong, but the amount of, like, for instance, transgenders in America, I feel like that's more of of white people that are doing that. Now, because I don't see things as just a racial issue, I also see that there's a lot of Black transgenders and Hispanic transgenders, and you know what I mean? I don't know what the amount is, but if the majority of transgenders are white men, let's say, then from a white nationalist standpoint, you have to account for that. You have to tell me, why is transgenderism then a problem in your community?
Absolutely.
Because it's the majority.
You have to own that.
You have to own that and tell me, why is that a problem in your community? But and
then if you say it's not your community, then you're right. Then the white has nothing to do with it.
Exactly. It's ideology and morality. We're talking about, then you probably more, when you're talking about white nationalism, You're talking about Christians or something. You're talking about Catholics, maybe. You get what I'm saying? That's your people.
Maybe Mormon. We'll
yes.
give them that too, yeah.
Yeah. Those are your people. That's your tribe. Don't make that mean. And then when it gets so far to, well, Christianity isn't a race-based thing. Jesus is for everybody.
For everybody.
Right?
Yeah.
Like now you have like people that are going by the like where Hitler created this Bible where he removed all of the Jewish origins from Jesus Christ and made it into this thing of like where it's a kind of a white religion. That he actually did this. There is a Bible that was put out by the Nazis. You can look this up. It's fact. I'm not being a fucking, jerk off liberal here. But it got so far that their white identity meant more to them than God, to where they were willing to change the word of God to meet their white ideology rather than doing what you're supposed to do. And when you see your worldly way of living conflicts with Christianity, you're supposed to change your worldly way of living, not Christianity. You don't change the word of God. It's blasphemy, which is literally unforgivable.
You're absolutely right.
So, I mean, tell me where I'm wrong in anything I said. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Look, this guy's such a jerk off.
What do you say?
These guys are supporting the Dems senator. Where in any of what we said?
Again, he just has lies. That's all he has.
Bro, I'm done with you.
All he has is lies.
Done with you, bro. Done with you.
Fucking jerk off. Fucking liar.
Roll the tape back, goddammit. What's going on?
I didn't even know his fucking name. I didn't even know the white nationalist name. Heard a goofy white boy, two goofy white boys talking. What's supporting somebody when you're saying that was a good question? That's supporting a Democrat senator? They have nothing, bro. Nothing.
Unbelievable. All right.
Right.
You had a Cringe TV, and then you want to get into